Hello friends, so welcome to this lecture on just-in-time access. So before digging into the just-in-time access, what it is, so if you just read the name, it is just-in-time, means providing access for a certain period of time, like or a, a time-bound access would be provided. So before digging into this feature, so if you'll remember, this is the security center console or view we seen in the our overview lecture. So if you'll see, we have already discussed about the recommendations and alerts and everything. Security policies, we have discussed about the coverage, how which questions you want to add, and security policy, security secure. So if you'll see on the left, now will be discussed about the advanced cloud defense. So we'll dig much deeper into this just in time VM access, what it is, why we need it, and then I'll just give you an overview about the adaptive application controls and file integrity monitoring. See, basically, adaptive security controls or adaptive application control is, you can say end-to-end solution or an intelligent solution from Azure, which helps customers to control like which application you can run on your Azure VMs, Windows or Linux. It basically helps you to harden your VMs if there is any kind of malware, all these information, all these you know information you get from the adaptive application control, and it simplifies basically the process of configuring and maintaining the application, which allow the list of policies with the help of which you can avoid the unwanted software to be used in the environment. You don't want to use any kind of unsupported apps within your environment, prevent specific tools, right, that are not allowed in your organization, and all these features are available within the adaptive security controls. Then the other option is file integrity monitoring. See, FIM, if you are from security background, you know these file integrity monitoring basically examine the change or examine files. If there is any, they basically monitor, and if there is any kind of changes within the registry, right, or application software or other changes that might indicate an attack or a sophisticated attack. So it basically does the comparison between the current state and what was the state at a certain time, and then it gives the recommendation. So if there are any kind of file registry, you know, things are deleted or removed, file changes, change in the file access control, or change in the file size, registry modifications. So security center basically recommends uh, it can it basically uh, recommend entities which need to be monitored, and which can easily enable FIM on that. So all these features are there within the, you can say, uh, Azure Security Center Cloud Defense. You can do that. But in this lecture, we'll discuss about the just-in-time VM access. So just what is just-in-time VM access? Why we need it? See, if you are working in an organization, you might have seen that for a certain work to do, developer might have opened a port in the firewall. They have done their work, and then that port is, then that port is open, and it could be vulnerable to the attack, or it is a risk for your infrastructure, because the permissions are allowed 24 by 7. So that is why if that port management port, let's say 3389 or 22 is open, so in that case, there could be attack, or someone might, that VM or that particular server might get compromised. So even if you'll go by the Microsoft, their recommendations and the data field study from Microsoft says that basically the brute force attack which is there is one of the top ways that IaaS or a VM can be compromised in the cloud. You can see these various reports from the Gartner or from the various blogs. So therefore, Microsoft provided this feature wherein they posted that, okay, this just-in-time access or feature will help to prevent that, because it is not widely accepted, or you can say recommended, that you can open any port for 24 by 7, which generally provides the high access. So what is just-in-time VXS? Azure just-in-time VM access can be used to lock down the inbound traffic to your Azure virtual machines, and it will automatically open a close inbound traffic when needed. So what this basically does is, let's say if you want to provide access to a certain person or to a certain user, so in that case, if you apply the just-in-time access, you can provide the time bound, let's say for 3 hours or 4 hours, the access should be provided. So once a user will request, if his role, like we mentioned that, okay, depending on the role-based access, if the access needs to be granted, the access will be provided for a certain period of time. So at the backend, what will happen is automatically it will create an NSG rule wherein it will allow that particular user to access a particular resource for a particular time period. So that is the beauty of just-in-time access. So like when let's say a user request and his role requires that okay he can RDP the machine. So in that case, your security center will decide that okay whether access needs to be granted or not. Now let's say if the access needs to be granted, so at the backend security center uses the NSG rule. So basically, just in time, a network rule will be created which will provide the access. So automatically, after 3 or 4 hours, that rule will be removed and the user access will be denied. So with the help of which you are not opening the ports 24 by 7, or let's say if developer wants to do a certain work, provides the time bound access so that you are not leaving your VM or your machine within the cloud vulnerable to brute force attack or someone can compromise the VM. So it's a wonderful feature provided by the Microsoft to provide access for a certain time period. So this is the way the just-in-time access by work by creating a automatically creating a just-in-time rule or basically a which basically allow the user for a certain period of time to access the resources. So this is it in this lecture. In this lecture, we just had a high-level overview about the adaptive security control, what feature of file integrity monitoring, and then overview about the just-in-time access, how it works, and why just-in-time access is required. So this is it in this lecture, friends. Thank you for watching this lecture. Meet you in the next lecture.